Hi everybody, Elle Ingalls here, creator of the Pressure Free Method, and this is a very specific training today, simple steps to reduce stress eating and drinking, also smoking. So this is a free online webinar I'm doing for you, just to give you a little glimpse into what the Pressure Free Method is all about, what kinds of issues I help clients with, and today is it's really going to be kind of fun. So I'm so glad you're with me. You're in the right place if you get work done, or you get done work, excuse me, and then you have to have a drink. Okay, it's like you get done and then you just got to have some kind of alcohol when you get done work. This is you if you have excess fat on your body. Like it's like your secret shame. You don't really want to have as much weight on you as you do. This is for you if you just don't have any willpower when it comes to certain foods or substances. When you're stressed, you stress eat, you drink, you smoke, you're doing something that you kind of wish you weren't, but you don't have any willpower for that. And this is for you, you're in the right place if you're looking for something to make you feel better. So that's usually one of the reasons, but it's not the deepest reason, which we're going to go into today. So like I said, get a pen, pencil, or cigarette or joint if you smoke, and get something to drink. Okay, I just put it in a wine glass here? There's just water, okay? Um, but I want you to actually experiment with me today so you can feel what I'm sharing with you. You really feel what's going on here. In this training, you'll discover the real reason why you eat or drink or smoke to reduce stress. And it's probably not what you think. We're also going to uncover a secret reason that can keep you on track. And then simple tools to gain willpower and overcome the urge, plus much more. Have you ever overeaten or eaten fatty or sugary foods and then regretted it, felt guilty about it? Have you ever wished that you had more willpower to stay away from foods and substances that are messing with your life? Have you ever worried that if you don't get a handle on yourself, that your health is going to suffer? Then this training is for you. This is for you if you are open to trying a new approach. Be aware of that kind of I know that already syndrome. It's called know-it-all syndrome, and I'm guilty of that. Like I'll hear someone say somebody on a train like, oh, I already know that. And look at my hand. It's like I'm pushing the very information that might flip a switch for me. I'm kind of pushing it away. So if you feel yourself kind of like, oh, I already know that, I want you to pause, put your hand down, and actually be open to really listening, because maybe I'm going to share a little nugget that really opens it up for you. This happened to my client the other night. She goes, why are these stress management tools? She didn't understand some of my life design tools, how it could make a difference for her. And I explained why. And then the very last tool of that session, she said, what did she say? My brain just blew up. It was like the one tool that's going to unlock so much for her. So if she'd been in that know-it-all kind of I already know this attitude, then it wouldn't have worked for her. So try to stay open when you feel that coming on. This is for you if you've tried to change before and it's just never worked. Like you've tried to quit drinking or smoking, or you've tried not to eat certain foods or chocoholic or whatever it is that you wish you really. Mine is a particular kind of donut. Doesn't even have much sugar on it. It's just like a big plain old-fashioned donut. That's mine. This is for you if you know that now is a time for you to get some help with this and you are willing to let go of procrastinating. So I want to come clean here with you about my own story just a little bit. First of all, I used to terribly beat myself up for eating too much sugar, and I'd feel very guilty about it, especially when I was an athlete. Like if I ate anything that I didn't consider a part of what I needed for best fuel, I would spend, I don't know, hours and days feeling guilty about the fact that I ate or drank something that I probably shouldn't have. I rarely drank any alcohol and never any coffee until after age 40. But then I tried wine and coffee and immediately wanted some every day, like 1 cup of coffee, 1 glass wine. And I was in denial that I needed those, by the way. I thought, oh no, I just kind of like how this wine tastes with this food, but that wasn't really true. But it's very much in denial. So I want you to, come clean with me if you feel you're in denial about that too. And there's a real reason, and we'll dive into the reason why it was after age 40. And then the other is I was in denial that I had a sugar addiction. Okay, and also that one glass of wine is too much for me. I only have one, but that's actually too much for me. It's like really understanding yourself and how you work and what's prohibiting you from really moving forward in your full potential. We're going to unpinch ourselves. So loosen anything around your wrists. Unhook your bra if you're female, or if you're a guy with a bra on. Get rid of the tightness around here. Loosen your tie. Take off your shoes. I'm barefoot right now. Take off your belt so you're relaxed in your belly. Or if you have a waistband, like undo the button or pull it below. Like if you feel it pinching in, I want you to unpinch so that you'll be in a better state to learn here. And you're just going to feel better in general because your nervous system isn't going trying to deal with all these places where you've got tightness around you. Then we'll open up our hearts. So go wide with your shoulders, like you're going way wide, and open up this whole area in your heart space. Secondly, lift up your butt and sit down so that you're sitting on your hamstrings or leg bones. You feel like you can instantly stand back up without having to squiddle in your chair. So I want your butt up behind you. So your open heart, hamstrings, head. So lift your magic, if you're on your little phone or whatever. Oops, I got static here. If you're on your phone, don't be down like this with a big double chin. Okay, lift it up so that you're looking with your head up high. We want to head up high today. And then your feet. I want you to relax your toes down into the ground. And then lift your heels just a little bit. So you're very much in a forward thinking position with your body, because today what we want to do is untangle some things that are holding you back from your full potential, your true ability here while you're on this planet. All right, we're going to dive into number one, the real reason. Like, what is the real reason why we'll just devour food when we're stressed? Or go for that huge big milkshake there. Look at all the food she has here. Now, some of it looks kind of healthy. I don't know, maybe she's even got, a vegetarian burger. I don't know what that is. It's got a lot of veggies, so that looks good as hell. And this huge milkshake, like she's got a lot of calories there that her body probably doesn't need and all that, but she's going for it. So these are some reasons that you might feel. You want to feel better. If you're stressed, you want to feel better. So you'll reach for something that kind of gives you that instant treat idea that I'm feeling better now. The sugar's going to make you feel better for a moment. The wine's going to make you feel better for a moment. Maybe the cigarette smoke is going to make you feel better for a moment. Maybe you're trying to escape. So you're turning to foods, drink, smoking to escape something. Maybe you're turning to marijuana to escape something. Maybe you're turning to some other kind of thing, drugs, to escape what's really happening in your life. It's just too much. You're trying to escape. You don't want to face the facts. So by taking yourself out for a while with whatever it is you're doing, it's like you don't have to face the facts of what's really going on. Again, kind of escaping. And then last is this idea of I deserve to treat myself. Do you ever say to yourself, oh, I deserve a little treat, and you go instantly for something sugary or alcoholic or whatever, you're going for a treat. So are these some of the reasons that you think you have for reaching for certain foods, for drinking at certain times? Here's the real reason. We're going to go very deep. I'm actually going a few layers even beyond what I just shared there, because I want to get right to the nugget fast. The real reason is that your body needs you to slow your heart rate down. When you're stressed, the first thing that's going to happen is your heart rate is going to go up into a very high rate in order for your adrenal glands to release adrenaline. Well, now your body is basically fueled with this adrenaline because fat and glucose wicks your brain cells and your major muscles, and you've got all this energy for a short period of time, and you're living on adrenaline. Then you might trigger again to try to keep that adrenaline flow going. So I'm raising my hand here. I was an adrenaline junkie and I didn't even know it. From the time I would wake up in the morning, I was like, boom, 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 quick, quick, quick. I would even finish people's sentences because I didn't have time to waste as they tried to figure out what they were trying to say, right? So the real reason that you will stress eat, drink, smoke is that your body needs you to slow your heart rate down. So you'll reach for something to do that. So let's experiment a little bit. This is where your props are going to come in. So I'm going to start first with your cigar, cigarette, joint, whatever that is you have here, or just use a pen like I'm going to. So we're going to experiment with why this is going to help you slow your heart rate down. First of all, if it's some sort of smoking, there's a ritual. Okay, you're going to massively look for your cigarettes and your lighter. Like you're going to, I see people do this all the time when they get off planes. They head right to the smoking area, and then the purse is open or the backpack, or they're digging for the cigarettes. It's frantic. It's like, you need it, you need it. So, but there's a ritual. Now there's a ritual. You found it, and now watch. Everyone tends to slow down a little bit, and it's like click, and then you're starting. I don't even know how to do it because I've never smoked anything actually in my whole life, but I've pretended. So I've held cigarettes at parties so people wouldn't ask me to smoke. So you've got your cigarette here. Maybe you hold it cool like this, or however you hold it. That's part of the ritual. Okay, it's like how you hold it. And now the next thing that happens is you're going to inhale. Or if you're a cigar, you're going to like puff, 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 whatever it is you do. And there's a whole ritual there, right? Starting with the humidor. And the moment that you start to do that inhaling, you're now slowing your breathing down. And then you're very letting the breath out, letting the smoke out. The moment that starts to happen, you're slowing your heart rate down because you're taking air in very slowly and expelling very slowly. Does that make sense? So if the real reason is that we're trying to slow down the heart rate, this whole ritual piece, and then the actual slow in, slow out is what's happening. When it comes to a drink, if you're preparing the drink yourself, there's a whole ritual around that. You're going to let the red wine breathe, all the things you're going to do. The beautiful glass, right? And then what's really interesting is that when you have an alcoholic drink, typically you're not like pounding it right away, you're sipping. So if you have your drink, I want you to just take a little sip. Now, I bet you haven't even breathed at all during the time that you did that. So when we go for drink or food, we slow our breathing down. I learned this from she was a nutritionist working with cancer patients. She teaches people to breathe more when they eat because most people don't take enough breath. They don't get enough oxygen, and oxygen's required to burn your fuel. So when she taught me that, I'm like, I kind of untangled it and reversed it out and said, oh, so when people go stress eating, like you take the big bite of the hamburger, okay, you're not breathing until you've swallowed, and then you can take a breath because you're so consumed with what that activity is. So that's slowing down your heart rate. Is this making sense? Like, I think this is so critical and so powerful for people to understand. So let's look at food for a moment and this idea of treat. So I've got the baby here with their head completely in a cake. It's conditional. It's been happening for generations, but we turn sweets into treats because I guess we don't want to eat them a whole lot, but it also builds up in our minds that when we're reaching for something sweet, that we're treating ourselves and we quote unquote deserve it. We have a lot of diabetes in our society today. We have a lot of people eating way too much sugar. When I talk to my parents have passed away, when they grew up, they were during the Depression, sugar was so rare. They had maple sugar and maple syrup, but they didn't have refined sugar. They didn't have it. And so having it was like a really big deal. So it happened sporadically. But it's so interesting. Today, you can get sugar anywhere. You can just walk to the corner store and get a whole bunch of candy bars. So we will treat ourselves. Maybe this young woman here is treating herself to a glass of wine to go with her food. This guy here is going for the really big burger, right? Which has too many calories for a body to consume all at once. But the act of taking in the food slows down our heart rate, which is the key reason why we will reach for all these things. We're trying to slow ourselves down. But what's so amazing with the pressure-free method is that you don't have to slow down to have less stress. That's what I teach you here. So all of these things, I want to back up a couple slides. So here, this experimenting here, and then this, the food. So you got drink, smoke, food. These are the things that we tend to reach for when we're stressed. So here's what I've come together. I'm calling them the R's. So the real reason, ritual. Either you're doing this ritual alone. I don't socially drink. I never have. For me, it was all about just having this beautiful glass. I have these really cool, actually, pottery mug, pottery chalice things, right? I should have brought that out. And taking the time to pour and slowly sipping. It's this ritual that I started after age 40 that I liked with my evening meal. I didn't have to, I could be sitting there alone. I didn't have to be with other people. So I wasn't socially drinking. But some people, the ritual is social. It's with other people. So that builds this whole ritual in there. So we're looking for ritual. We're trying to reward ourselves. It's been a hard day at work. I deserve a glass of wine. Or I deserve a 6-pack. Or I deserve to have some marijuana tonight. Or whatever it is that you like, your treat or reward. And then it's order to relax, how we want to feel. But the biggest reason why is that we're trying to lower this heart rate because our body is like, you better lower that heart rate or you're going to be in big trouble. The body doesn't want that heart rate to be so high. So it's looking for a way to do that, all subconsciously. So I hope that's making sense. I think it's like really profound. But now we're going to go even deeper. So why? Why do we do all this? Because you're in the fight or flight stress cycle. And when you're in the fight or flight stress cycle, which the first phase is adrenaline, you literally don't have any willpower. You can't stop yourself. Have you tried before? I know I did. I was like, I'm not going to have the glass of wine tonight with my meal, but then I'd have it later in the evening. It was really hard to not. Or I'm not going to have dessert tonight. Just not going to have any. We got those little chocolate bars at Christmas. I'm just not going to have any. And then I would end up having some. It's like I had no willpower. So when you're in the fight or flight stress cycle, it's pretty, very, very difficult. It takes a really disciplined person to actually muster the willpower because your two willpower centers are shut down in fight or flight. I just want to share briefly this slide, okay? I actually do an entire hour-long session on this alone so that people, my clients, really understand what's going on with your bodies and your minds so that you become empowered to be able to do something different. So when you go into fight or flight, the fight or flight stress response, these are just some of the major effects that happen to you. And I want you to just glance at this slide for a moment and pick out a couple that yeah, that's what I feel. Maybe you're a leg jiggler. Maybe you have a lot of negative thought and you have some real furrows here in your brow. Maybe you've got high blood pressure. Maybe you're overweight. Maybe you're having trouble with your memory. Feel like why can't you remember people's names when you meet them in a social situation? It's really embarrassing. Maybe you have to pee a lot. Maybe you have to do the other a lot. Maybe you've got digestive issues or your thyroid is messed up. You're having problems with your immune system. You have an autoimmune disease. So take a look at these because these are all the effects of the stress response. Every chronic disease is directly caused by the fight or flight stress hormones. And those diseases that are not are exacerbated by them. Knowing that just is super empowering, especially when you have the answer to how to stop releasing all these hormones. And that's what I teach you how to do in Pressure Free. Here's what most people don't know. So very few people know this, and I want you to know it. I want you to really take it in today if you've heard me say it before. If you're a male on the other side of the screen there, it's going to take your body up to 9 hours before the two different floods of hormones have completely dissipated out of the cells and you're back to normal. So that's your whole day trying to work or your whole night trying to sleep. And chances are you've triggered the stress response more than once in your day, because at least once a day you're going to get angry, anxious, annoyed, or ashamed. And those are the prime emotions that will cause us to trigger these stress responses. Even just the slightest annoyance, like garage door not working right, or get stuck in traffic during your commute. Like any of those little things can release stress hormones on you. So chances are you're probably never out of the cycle. For females, I hope you're sitting down, because it's an up to 24-hour cycle for you. So pretty much everyone you know that you see on a daily basis is at some point in the stress response cycle. I call it the stress response cycle because it has different effects at different times. And in that entire time, they're not fully functioning. So when you say something to someone and they overreact back, that's because they were feeling threatened by your words, even though the words weren't threatening at all. Isn't that incredibly empowering to know? It's why people will take your words and twist them and get a totally different meaning. It wasn't what you meant at all. It's because if we're in fight or flight, we fear little things that we really shouldn't fear at all. But anything can start to feel like a threat. So having this information right here has now super empowered you. It's giving you a ton of power in the workplace, in your home life, because now you're going to be able to see when people are what I call under the line. They've triggered the stress response and they're now trying to deal with all the stress hormone releases. They're not, when we're doing all of that, our brains are shut down out here. They can't function well. And that's why you don't have enough willpower to say no to the glass, to say no to the cigarette. You just don't have the power to do it because this is shut down. And your thinking and remembering is shut down too. So much is changing in the human body, as I just showed on that other slide. So we need to power you up. And the fastest way to power you up is to figure out your secret reason why you want to gain the willpower, why you really want to stop smoking, why you don't want to reach for the glass every night. Okay? It's going to take, it could take some time, and I work on this with my clients because the reason is probably very deep and you need to figure it out for it to really work. If it hasn't worked in the past, it's because you didn't go deep enough. So I'm going to ask just a couple questions here for you, and I want you to go deep, and I'm going to share my answers so you get my answers, and it can be helpful and instructive to you to develop your answers. So 2 questions. What do you value? What is really important to you? I mean really important to you at the very deepest part of you. So what do you value? What's really important to you? Now I put 2 pictures of my family here. One pre-pressure free, one post-pressure free. So pre-pressure free, of course, we're at my sister's wedding. If you look closely, let me see, I don't know, can I blow that up? No, it doesn't work. If you look closely at this slide and look at my left cheek, that's me with the dark hair, by the way, you'll see this like little spot. That's stress acne. Stress acne. So, we got 3 boys. Ned, by the way, has the goofiest look on his face because he did not want to be in that little outfit. He did not want to wear his little tuxedo. So he's being super goofy in every picture, which he loved to do anyway. So here we are, these 3 boys right here, that is my secret reason. So the reason that I didn't drink or smoke or do any drugs whatsoever in high school or college, and all the way until like age 40, even coffee, I didn't drink coffee, was because I wanted to have really healthy babies. Now, one member of my family, my own mother, didn't think I should even have a family. She once told me she didn't think I was the nurturing type and that I was on my way to a very big career and I probably shouldn't get married or have children. She didn't understand that my secret reason for all of my motivations prior to that moment in time, which was like age 24, 25 or something, um, I was so locked into my future babies, like so wanting just to have a very healthy body. I was an athlete. I wanted this body to be healthy. I wanted it to be always cognitively functioning. I didn't know that stress was the reason it wasn't, by the way. So that was my value. And now my sons are all young adults. They're 27, 25, and 19. They're all just really incredible children. And obviously you can tell from the bottom photo how much we all love each other as adults. And recently my eldest, who is between the three boys, he's the middle one in there, my eldest Hugh, he saw some sign at a Jimmy John's that said that something about the only thing that really matters, this is if you have children, is what your children say about you. Like that's the true measure of your wealth, is what your children say about how you raise them, how you are. So anyway, this is like super important to me. So my secret reason for abstaining from so many things that other people all around me were doing, like I'd be at parties with people doing, at Michigan at the time, a lot of people were doing cocaine. I never touched it. I never did it. I never smoked a joint. Like it's not interesting to me. By the way, I guess it's like 18 to 20% of the population, just one joint can cause a psychotic event that can forever change their life and create psychosis. So maybe I'm just protecting myself. Maybe I have an even deeper secret reason to know that I just can never do those substances. It's not for me. I've often said that number one, alcohol is like fire water to me. I only need one glass of wine. And I know that then like, I can't really work for a couple hours. I'm not fully functioning here. I'm honest about that. Also about 2 hours in, that I'm not very nice either. It's like the depression part is hit in. So alcohol is a depressant. A lot of food causes depression. It doesn't boost you. Your body's working too hard just to deal with it. So it's like, what do you value? And what's really important to you? Strip out all the stressors in your life. Like, let go of all the things, the financial stress, the relationship problems, all the things. Just let them go for a moment and ask yourself, what do I really value? You might not get an answer right now. I just want you to ask the question and see what bubbles up over the next few days. Write it down. When something comes up in your mind, write it down. I had no idea that my secret reason was keeping my body healthy for these babies. Okay, I didn't know that until just a few years ago. I mean, I sort of knew it, but I didn't know what a motivator that was for me. Deep inside of you is a motivator that might not even be clear to you yet. When you start asking the questions like these two right here, it's going to happen. So write them down. Take your pen, pencil, like write these two things down. And again, just sit with them. Ask them just before you go to sleep. Ask them when you wake up in the morning. Start to see what kind of answers come up for you. It's usually pretty fascinating what people come up with for what really matters to them. So here's some ways to help you. I have a little formula I want to share today. It's 6 A words. The first are aim, acknowledge, analyze. So usually when it comes to substances, food, the drink, we've got something going on where we're creating a body that's not so good. Heavy smokers have a lot of wrinkles in their face, not getting enough real good oxygen, and it's taking a toll. Also, if you're stressing a lot, your nutrients aren't getting out to your cells. And also the overweight. Every time you stress out, you're creating stress fat on top of the food fat, because you're eating too many calories, and that will just instantly turn into fat for you. And the second flood of stress hormones expands those cells. So typically, if we're drinking a lot, eating a lot, smoking a lot, we don't like how our body looks. So I want you to ask yourself, what are some of your aims? Again, what are some of your reasons? What do you really want your body to look like, feel like, move like? What do you really want? Deep inside, like it can be secret shame. You're not admitting that you even want it because you're so afraid you'll never be able to get it or do it. So start to uncover some of your secret aims and then acknowledge, what are some of the deep hidden stories that you may have been living concerning your body, like how you've been caring for your body? Is the reason that you're smoking so much because you're trying to escape? Or maybe it's because, everyone in your family smoked. You just grew up around smokers. It's just what everybody does. It's like just everybody does it. It's the only way we calm down. It's the only way we have a decent conversation. So what are some of the hidden stories in your life that are holding you in this pattern and keeping you locked? And then you need to analyze these stories. Some of the stories you'll discover are like empowering for you. They're good. Some of them are not so good. So what stories do you want to release? What stories are not helping you so much anymore? Is it that, well, I like to go out with my buddies and they all drink? You can drink something else. You don't have to drink alcohol and still be with your buddies. It may feel weird at first. You gotta work it a little bit. I know I did it. You gotta work it a little bit and have no judgment. Don't come in with judgment or they won't want you to be your friends anymore. And maybe you want to stay friends. Maybe you don't. So these are things you need to work on. But what is your new story that you want to create for yourself? You get to write your story. I've got so many journals here, but here's a little journal of where I keep certain things. So like you open it up, okay, wow, blank page. You are literally writing your story every moment. And you're either making your story go this way or this way. You get to decide that when you feel empowered enough, when you're not triggering stress hormones. You can stop overreacting and choose your response to everything. So we need to analyze those stories. Let's talk about what stories you might be telling yourself. I just don't have time to eat right. What I have is genetic. I hear that all the time. My friends, family expect me to drink. Smoking weed is harmless. It's not harmless, by the way, but maybe that's what you've been telling yourself. Well, it's harmless. It's natural. I hear that all the time. It's natural. Well, the people that I've helped who realize that, wow, natural, if I'm smoking every day, I can't keep my job because I'm late all the time, because I'm unmotivated. It's really interesting. It's only one candy bar, drink, joint. I'm a compulsive kind of person. Is that a story you've been telling yourself for a while? I'm just compulsive. All compulsive people do this. I'm just compulsive. I don't think I could ever really stop. So are these some of the stories you tell yourself? What is your new story? What story would you like to add in, change it up to? One could be, I have new ways to comfort myself. I'm going to share a couple of those. I slow my breath to slow my heart rate. I'm worthy of a truly fulfilling life. If my friends are really my friends, they will understand. I surround myself with different options that empower me. I now have the willpower to choose. I'm doing this for, and you've got your secret reason. I actually read the magazine Mothering for 5 years before I had Hugh. 5 years. Mothering was this magazine because I wanted to have home births. He was actually born at the hospital, but my other two were born at home, including the one when I was 39. I'm doing this for my children. I'm doing this for my community. I'm doing this because I believe in this cause. I'm doing this to fulfill my true purpose on this planet. What are you doing this for? If I have a glass of wine every night, I can't really coach or work at night. And I have clients around the world, so I need to be able to open up times when they're awake. So I coach in the evening, I coach on weekends, I set my schedule. So I can't do that if I've had a glass of wine by dinner because I'm not fully there. I recognize this. It was a hard pill to swallow, haha, but I figured it out. I want to be able to work all hours of the day, anytime. I've gotten up at 3 a.m. to work with people before. I want to be able to do that. I want to be happy, healthy, and not have any problems that way. So that's a part of my deeper reason and deeper story. So then the next three A words are affirm, act, account. So affirm. Each day, at least once, you need to read your new story aloud. You need to affirm your direction and intention. Otherwise, you're going to let everybody around you decide how you feel. Most of us do. We're too lazy to place intention on how we really want to be. So we let everybody else decide how we feel. Our coaches, our teachers, our spouses, our kids, like everyone around us decides our mood instead of us. At Pressure Free Living, we help you decide your intention, decide how you're going to feel, whatever you're doing. And the first step here is like really affirm your direction and intention. Next is to act. Write your plan. Take action, however small, every day, even if it's just 5 minutes. If you're in my Pressure Free Planner, you know I have 10-minute actions for you. 10 minutes can do amazing things for you. Most of us can find 10 minutes to start to do something that really affirms our life and moves us in the proper direction. I don't even want to use the word proper. Moves us in the direction that's fulfilling our potential. And then last is account. Find someone that will hold you accountable to your plan no matter what. Find someone who will be really honest with you, who will say, you know, your face is really tight here and I saw you smoke 3 times today. Find someone that you'll be honest with and say, yeah, you know what? I had a glass of wine last night and today hold me accountable that tomorrow morning when I talk to you, I haven't done that. So finding a buddy, finding someone that's there for you unconditionally and non-judgmentally, they're just there for you to tell them what you've done or not done, to hold your own self accountable. Having an accountability partner can be really, really helpful. I have a few. So here's the third part of our webinar today, simple steps. I want to give you some simple steps. I purposefully picked this picture of a woman drinking something that looks somewhat healthy. I don't know, maybe that's laced with alcohol, who knows, but she's here out in nature and she's taking a sip of something. So I'm going to share some simple steps with you to get you started. And the first thing I'm doing are steps of Pressure Free. Step 1 are targets. And we're coming back to that why again, your reason why. Why do you want to live with less stress? Why do you want to be healthier? What do you want to be able to do with a healthier body? How exactly do you want to look and live, and why? So one thing about the ritual of this, like I think these glasses are really pretty, but I could have water in here and still be able to hold the pretty glass, right? Get out of the box a little bit and say, you know what, this is good, this is good. I take my little sip, I put it down, it's pretty, I'm feeling good. So is there something about that ritual you can switch up a little bit, like the ritual you like about the smoking, blah, blah, blah. Maybe instead of smoking, you're just gonna sit and take in a beautiful couple of breaths to slow your heart rate, breathing instead of the smoking helping you to slow down your breathing. Does that make sense? But here, go deep into your why. Why do you want any of this? Then your what. Step 2 of the Pressure Free method are triggers. Your what. Note, these are the questions you need to ask, like when do you tend to overreact? You know, are you holding in during work all day, holding in that anger, holding in all that anxiety, and then you get home and it's like, grab the drink, you know, get yourself free. So when are you overreacting? Is it deep inside you? You're not even exploding on the outside, but it's inside? Who or what makes you overreact? What makes you feel annoyed or angry? What do you worry about? What's keeping you up at night? Are you turning to something so that you don't worry about your money all night? But you just spent how much money on this? How much money on this? The water's free, by the way. Though I do have a filter that I purchased, so. Who or what makes you feel anxious? And then what are you ashamed of? Maybe you're ashamed that you're smoking or drinking or whatever. And that's causing you more stress and that's making you do it even more. It's like a big downward spiral. So that's your what, triggers. Step 3 tools, your how-to. So the pressure-free method, I have over 40 tools, almost 50 tools that I share with you to help you stop triggering the fight or flight stress response, which is going to cause you to want to reach for all these things that you wish you didn't reach for. Plus, it's going to help you stop building all that stress fat, so you're going to like your body more. So 3 types of tools in my course: body tools, mind tools, and life design tools. And I don't know which tools are going to work for you, which is why I share so many different tools. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, I had the woman who said, "Oh my God, you just blew my mind." It was just like amazing, because deep into the course, I think we're in our 5th session, there was a tool that started to unlock something for her. So you never know which one of these tools are going to be the ones that unlock for you, which is why I've built so many based on neuroscience, based on so many things that I know work for others. And I know something in this little kit of tools is going to work for you. But I want to share just a couple with you. First is this celebration Ferris wheel. Crazy idea I came up with. But it's based on the book Good to Great by Jim Collins. If you haven't read that, that's a great business book. It's about moving any sort of organization from good to great. Something I read like 20 years ago. And out of there, I took this little nugget that we need to celebrate incremental gains. Just the smallest change in trajectory here. Where do you end up a month from now? How about a year from now? So we need to change these little tiny things here to change our trajectory. Celebrate the little tiny gains. So this also has a lot of neuroscience background to it, this idea that I created of this celebration Ferris wheel. It's a large motion. You pretend there's a small Ferris wheel in front of your face and you push and it's spinning, okay? So go ahead and do it with me. Push the Ferris wheel and it's spinning. It's a very silly thing to do, so hopefully you'll smile a little bit. When the corners of your mouth go up, you release a neurotransmitter called dopamine. Dopamine is a feel-good drug, but it also is the neurotransmitter required for all of this to work in your hippocampus, to keep your outer brain working so you can think straight. Does that make sense? So you have willpower in these 2 parts of the brain that are your willpower centers. So a little bit of a smile is going to keep dopamine flowing. It's going to keep your brain turned on. And now you can choose your response to whatever's going on. So you're in a social situation, you're feeling a little anxious because everybody's going to be drinking and you don't want to drink. Push your Ferris wheel. Get a little smile going. Now you're going to be able to choose your response. It's like, I'll just have a seltzer, thank you. Not one of those hard seltzers, by the way, right? Or I'll just have, could I just have some water? But could you put it in a wine glass? I've done that before, by the way. Could you put it in a wine glass? Could you put it in a pretty cup for me? Maybe put a little cranberry juice in there, you know? Why not? Do it your way. Be brave. So smile a little. Now I want you to do this again. Push the Ferris wheel up. Leave your arms in the air. Now bring your arms down, but do not change your body. And you'll notice that you elevated your posture. It's like you're getting up and over this problem so you can solve it. So you don't go down into the mucky muck and start drinking and smoking like crazy, eating crazy food. So big motion, by the way, is one of the few ways that an adult can change your subconscious programming. So another little neuroscience trick in here. Smile keeps the dopamine flowing, and posture is another thing that tells your brain you must be fine. Because if you're not fine, you're going to coil up to protect yourself and fight or run away. So posture, an elevated open posture, tells your brain, oh, I must be okay right now. So that's why this celebration Ferris wheel is such a powerful little tool to get you going. Bonus tip, okay? This is a really important pressure-free tool when your mind is going real negative on you. So if your mind is going, oh crap, my friends are not going to be happy because I'm not going to drink tonight. You have no idea. You're making that story all up in your head. So whenever you hear yourself going into a negative, fake worry, like you're just making it up, I want you to push this little switch on your head, turn it on. And again, use a big motion so that you're retraining your brain from a habit that you've developed. I also smile to keep dopamine flowing. And I have a little slogan I say here. I look at my head and I go, caught you. You're catching your brain going into a negative direction. The brain going into a negative direction is what's going to have you reach for the stress food, reach for the wine or beer or whatever you drink, reach for the cigarette or the joint. You're going to have no willpower. It's moving you in a negative place. So I look at my brain and go, caught you, and then ask an empowering question. How can I, or what can I? How can I have a great time tonight and not drink? How can I dance all night and have so much fun? By the way, drunk girls can't dance, neither can drunk men. And stoned people cannot parent. I'm going to write a book on that. You can't be a parent if you're stoned. Sorry. You can't take them to the emergency room. You can't even have enough of a reflex to save them if they're starting to fall or something weird is happening. You know, so you got to be present. And that's kind of harsh, but you know, I'm coming out and I'm saying it. So how can I, what can I? Power yourself up with these two questions and let the answers come organically. Don't force any answer. Let the answers flow within you. You're a brilliant person. You are a brilliant organism. Let your brilliance shine by asking the right questions. Don't ask this kind of question. How come I'm so stupid here? Why can't I stop? Why can't I stop is going to give you all the reasons why you can't stop. How can I stop is going to give you the reasons how you can stop. So empowering question can be really powerful for you. What can you do? I can sip tea, water, or juice. Just the act of doing that, if you did it with me, I mean, it instantly slows down your breathing because you can't breathe. Try to breathe and drink. It's really hard. You can't do it. Especially in a glass that goes like this, like it doesn't work. So sip tea, water, juice, relax your abs. That's a very powerful tool I teach my clients. You can take a moment to breathe slowly. Instead of going here, you can even grab the cigarette, but don't light it. Put it to your lips because you're coming here for comfort, by the way. And just slowly go in and out. Just slowly go in and out and see what happens. See what happens. It's kind of interesting. You can also self-comfort. You can pet yourself. Okay? Simple thing I'm going to teach you right now. I learned this from my body coach, Leela Veronica. If you want a Leela V body, go to leelaveronica.com. Just look her up. She's my Facebook friend. You can connect to her. She's amazing. But she taught me this, and think about a dog for a moment. If you've ever pet a dog before, you go down the fur like this. If you start to go up, the dog bristles. Doesn't like that because you're rubbing the fur the wrong way. Most of us get massages and we're getting rubbed the wrong way, by the way. I want you to start rubbing yourself the right way, petting yourself. So take from your shoulder and just come down the top of your arm, and then you can go up underneath, okay? So down, but even just going down the top of your arm a few times is extremely soothing. Do the same thing if you don't want to be seen doing this, like say you're in a meeting, take your hands and go down the top of your thighs, just very slowly. And that's going to instantly start calming your nervous system. It's a really beautiful thing to do. If you're alone and you're feeling very stressed, like go all the way down your legs and up underneath. So down the tops, all the way, and then up underneath. And then you can soothe your hair too. Or if you don't have any hair, it doesn't matter. The scalp being soothed like this down is really, and go with the flow. Like I have a little cowlick back here. Go with the flow of the hair. It's going to be very calming. Self-comfort yourself. Instead of reaching for the stress food, sit for a moment and just calm yourself. Be your own best friend. Be your own parent. Calm yourself. My parents passed away. My grandparents are all gone. I have a few aunts and uncles, but they're 1,000 miles away. So it's up to me to calm myself. Self-comfort. When you become a grown-up, you have to learn how to comfort yourself without the comfort food, without the drinking and smoking. Now, part of the ritual of this this is like chick lighting and all this ritual here is busy hands. Like doing something with your hands. Because a lot of people who stress, they get real fidgety, like tapping their fingers, biting their nails, jiggling their legs. Is that you? That was me, especially little, like elementary school is real like jiggler. I never bit my nails, but I picked at my cuticles. I have to watch that on my thumbs still. They're so much better though. Oh my God, I have to show them up close. I can't believe those are my thumbs. Like my thumbs used to be all ragged and red in here because I would pick. All right. So what can you do with your hands that, like, you could knit or crochet or tippy tap and write a book or chop vegetables, or even just like fold your hands in prayer, like, again, kind of self-comforting, loving your hands, moving your hands in a good way. What can you do with your hands? Because I see people get fidgety and then they're like, they need the cigarette. Okay. I can prepare healthy food or hire someone to make me healthy food. Like, what kind of food? Get some better food in your house. I have real big, I have a client who does a meal plan. She's a health coach, a nutrition coach in Canada. And so I purchased her meal plan, and I'm telling you, I had so much resistance. So I've like done a few of the meals and everything, but just recently, I literally did not buy anything that was not on the meal plan. Okay, because she gives you the whole grocery list and everything. I didn't buy anything that was not on there. And I'm doing a lot of it. I'm not gonna say I'm doing it perfectly by any means, but it's made a huge difference to not have all those other foods in the house that we don't need. So, so you can make little switches there. Again, incremental gains, just gonna help you so that you're turning around that trajectory. So stay pressure-free. Pressure-free is the on-the-go stress management method. Here is how you can do it. The more you stay pressure-free, the more you're not gonna need the cigarette. You're not gonna need to come here for comfort with food or your fingernails or whatever you're coming here for comfort with. And you're not gonna keep reaching for the glass, okay? I want you to start noticing when you get tense, either in thought or in body. And then from that moment, you have about 10 seconds before your heart rate will jack up high enough to release the stress hormones. We want to prevent the release of the stress hormones. Is that making sense? Like we're working with the very biology of your body. If we can stop the stress hormones from releasing from the adrenal glands, that's going to change everything, because you're not going to be quote unquote under the influence of stress hormones anymore. I call it under the influence because it's such a cocktail. You hear about adrenaline and cortisol all the time, but there's so many more pieces to it. Causes all those effects, all chronic disease. And you're going to stop it. You're going to nip it right in the bud. You're not going to release stress hormones. So these simple tools I just started you on today, you can get a lot of mileage with them. I want you to go deeper, but start today with just relaxing your abs, a little smile, pushing that Ferris wheel, flipping the switch. These are very simple little tools. Whenever you feel angry, anxious, annoyed, ashamed, and of course, any fear, anytime you're afraid. So that'll get you started, which is incredible. Again, you're going to push your celebration Ferris wheel. Oh, if you don't like Ferris wheels, just take a 3-point shot. Okay, swisher. And again, the spinning of these balls or wheels, that represents the energy of your life, the quality of your life. Sometimes I get so teary-eyed especially if I'm coaching a large group. I'm like, if you do this, you just gave yourself a quality slice of life that you just added to the end of your life. Also, when you learn to live pressure-free all day, you'll finally sleep the way you're supposed to. Your body will be renewing, rejuvenating, and refreshing. So when you wake up in the morning, you won't be fatigued. It's totally, totally possible for you and amazing. So in this training, you've learned the real reason for stress, eating, and drinking. Do you remember what it is? It's okay if you don't, because I'm here to tell you again. It's to get your heart rate down so you don't kill yourself, basically. You've got to get your heart rate down. And if you're in fight or flight, you have an elevated heart rate and high blood pressure. So the real reason you're reaching for food and eating and drinking and smoking is because your body is looking for anything to slow down your heart rate. And it's looking for it from the exterior because you're in fight or flight. You can't use your body's inner knowledge when you're in fight or flight. You're way scattered. The next thing that we talked about was developing your secret reason to change. I mentioned how mine was having really healthy children. That was just this deep-seated thing within me. It wasn't anything I expressed outside of myself. It was just so deep in me. You're going to figure out what that deep reason is when you keep asking yourself, what is my real reason? What is most important to me? Just keep asking, and the answers will start to come because your brain is brilliant. And then I taught you the pressure-free method, the 3 steps. Targets, what are you aiming for? Triggers, what causes you to feel those emotions that may cause you to release those hormones? And then last, tools. What tools can you use? Relax your abs, push the Ferris wheel, 3-point shot, smile, flip the switch. These little tools. Again, in my whole course, I go over 40 tools. Maybe none of these are the ones that are going to work for you yet. You need something deeper because your stress is really deep. Your trauma is really deep. You need to go deeper. So what is next for you? You can take what you've learned and start applying it. I want you to do that. And you can take the next step, learning, integrating, and mastering the pressure-free method. And I can guide you. Getting started. The fastest way for you to get started is to book a private call with me, a call where I can learn more about you and what you're up to. So speakwithelle.com is my calendar. It's an online calendar. Just click and book a time. And then I want you to implement at least one thing that you learned from this webinar. Just try one thing that you learned today. And then stay on track with something I have called the Online Pressure-Free Planner. I would love for you to come into this planner. If you're skeptical and you want to try a week for free, I could set that up for you. I've never done that yet, but I really want you to stay on track here and start moving forward from the momentum we've built here. So this planner, it's called the Pressure-Free Planner. It's a 365-day planner you can start on any day of the year. And it comes with a little video from me, a fillable PDF. So you can either print it out and write your answers to everything and create your planner, or you can go ahead and just do it all right online. These, the days come out to you every single morning, very early in the morning. So you get them every morning. And it's just been really cool product for a lot of my clients. A lot of my clients are now using it and getting incredible results. I had one of my clients tell me the other evening that it has changed so much for her in just a few weeks. So, so if you want that planner, let me know and I'll give you a special discount. It's usually $365, but if you've come to the end of this with me, I have it for $97 for you. So let me know if you're interested in that and I will give you the link to get you started. If you want to test drive it for 7 days, let me know that too, and I'll put you in the first 7 days and you can see if you like it. So that is the planner. Oh, news too, that we've set the dates for our Superhuman Retreat and spots are going fast. We have very limited spots. We have 13 spots. I think we have 6 or 7 of them taken already. So this is a live retreat. And one of my clients recently said, you know, every time I come to something of yours that is live, I learn something really life-changing and new. So this is for you, even if you've had the pressure-free intro course before, or you've come to my retreats, or you know, it doesn't matter. Every time it's new, every time it's different, I'm always creating new tools. And this is in conjunction with Lila Veronica. We're going to help your body and your brain really move into your full potential. So if you want to come, again, just private message me or email me and I will make sure you get all the information on that. So I want you to remember me. If you're new to me, if this is the first time you've ever seen me coach, and maybe you'll forget about me for 6 months, but then something happens in your life or in someone's life that you love. They have an anxiety issue. They're suffering from depression. They have heart disease. They just got diagnosed with diabetes. Any of these things. I want you to remember who I am. So you can always remember by I'm illegally blonde. You saw my dark hair. So Legally Blonde, L. Okay, I'm L, just one syllable, like the letter L. And then Ingalls, just think Little House on the Prairie or Little House in the Big Woods. Just look that up, and that's how you spell my last name. And that is my website, lingalls.com. Your time is now. If you came on this webinar and you've come to the end with me, I want you to take the next step. I don't want you to sit on the fence and say, oh, this is interesting. Maybe it could help me. Just jump in. You'll never regret it. I want you to keep your momentum going and get started today because you are so worth it. Your family is worth it. The world needs you to be pressure-free. The more people that become pressure-free on this planet, the less problems we're going to have. So I want you to get started. I want you to schedule your call now to secure a spot with me. I have limited time on my calendar, but you'll see there's plenty of spots for you to find a time. Speakwithelle.com that goes right to my calendar. I bought that domain name. It goes right to my calendar. And we'll just have a private conversation. And of course, it is a pressure-free conversation. You will never feel pressure to move forward with me. I only take clients who are really motivated to work with me. And you'll find out more about what I do, how I do it, and whether it's a good fit for you and whether I feel I'm a good fit for you. So schedule your time, speakwithelle.com. If you want the planner, private message me. I'll give you that discount. And you can always reach me at l@pressure-free.com. So thanks so much for coming on this with me today. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody who's here on Facebook. If you're watching the replay, just message me if you really want any access to those things I talked about, the retreat, the planner, and of course, speakwithelle.com. Come on a call with me. And feel free to share this, heart this. You know, I know stress is a personal thing, so maybe you don't want it to be public that you've even watched this. Feel free to grab the link and privately send it to someone. That's so helpful, especially if you know someone who wants to quit smoking, wants to get off the drugs, wants to not self-medicate every night. You know, this could be so mind-boggling for them, mind-boggling. I still say mind-boggling, thank you. What was the actor's name who said that in Elf, right? Yeah, so thanks so much. I'm going to close out on Facebook and open up for my live people on the webinar. And I'm wishing you, of course, a wonderful, great, pressure-free day. So let's see. Here we go. Bye.